I guess following on from that, it'd be interesting to find out from you if if you can think of five females that you would think, man, my top five all-time favorite females. I wonder if Tina Turner's on your list, but who would make your top five?
Oh, of all time? Oh,
Yeah,
that's
just
a
all
tall,
times.
tall.
Yeah, where you think.
I'm gonna have to obviously go with one of my favorites, Whitney Houston.
Okay.
Whitney Houston is gonna be number one for me. She's
Oh, you're starting with number one.
someone,
You don't go
yeah,
to
she's
five
number one.
first.
I always start with number one because I get excited with your topics. So I got to go out with my first one. So of
Okay.
course Whitney Houston, because she sets the standard. She is the voice. For me, she has probably the best voice I've ever heard in my whole life. And I know that's, speaking very highly of her, but it is. I've never, for me personally, I've never had someone with just their gift of voice or
Mm.
song to be able to captivate me the way she has. Um, and I think that she just has such a illustrious, great career that any artist would love to have. And she's won all of the awards, and unfortunately, she did have an unfortunate downward spiral in her career, which makes her
Mm.
story and legacy even more interesting.
Wow.
So, but I don't like to focus on the negatives. I think everything she's been able to accomplish and the records she set that have not been matched to this day are testament to why she's on this list.
Okay. Wow. Well, if I have to go for my number one, which I normally would go from, I would go with Miss Anita Baker. It's
Mm,
she's this. When I listen to her sing, that's almost like a fairy godmother. There's the warmth in her voice, in the style of her music. It's it's just smoothing. Yeah, I've from the first time she came out, and even though I was young, listening to Sweet Love and everything, she dressed elegantly. When you think about female artists now and how they come out and how they over sexualize stuff, and Miss Anita Baker just never did that. She had her famous haircut, the Anita Baker sort of bob or whatever it's called, that really transcended time. And it was just such a warmth and a love and a sort of sense of it would be okay in the way she sang and delivered her songs. So if I was to have to go for my number one, I would start with Anita.
well, just so you know, we don't have to go in order.
Well, you see,
I
it's
just
too
jumped
late
with my
now. I
number
mean,
one because I got
so
excited.
okay.
But Anita's a good. I've said some things about Anita, but I really do I like Anita a lot. I grew up with her. My mother loves her music. My father loves her music. And it's just her tone. It's something about her tone and her
Mm,
delivery of her songs.
mm,
Very heartfelt. So many emotional layers to her singing. Some people
mm.
they're not able to reach those different depths of emotion with just a voice.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go with my next favorite, Toni Braxton. And Toni Braxton, she's not mentioned a lot in these kind of conversations. And when you say of all time, that's just a tall order. I don't know if I would, but Toni, she has this sensuality, this sultry presentation, very, I don't know the word. It's just her voice, her presence, her performance, the way she's so poised when she's singing. Um, she has a certain classic way about her that you don't see a lot anymore. And even when she was younger, she was very young when she came out in the 90s. Yet when she performed and when you see her in her videos and her imagery, it was just so polished and professional and sexy and seductive and kind of sad. Like she's, a lot of her songs had a sexiness to them, but a sadness to them.
Yeah.
And her songs were just wonderful. Same with Whitney, just great song
Mm.
material. And I admired how she was able to stay consistent, and she's iconic for those reasons for me.
Yeah, you know, when I was putting this list together and Tony Braxton came to my mind, and I realized I just don't like her voice. It just
Oh, what?
yeah, it's it
You
was too many
like
sad.
Anita, but you don't like
Yeah,
Tony.
no,
Voice.
I think I
They are
just
different. They
think
are different.
it was she sang, Face gave her too many bad sort of heartbreak songs. Love Should Have Brought You Home, You
Oh
Mean
yeah, I
the
know you don't
World,
like those kind of
On
songs.
Break My Heart, especially On Break My Heart. I think it knocked Blackstreet off the #1 position with No Diggity, but
Mhm.
there was just, I think it was, there was no, I mean, I think I actually preferred her later stuff when she did stuff with Bryce Wilson. Um,
That's more
uh,
upbeat, right?
yeah, when she did the more upbeat stuff and she got Dark Child,
Yeah.
I think I preferred that part. But then again, I just didn't like how she went all out with over sexualized stuff. So so
Right.
but if I was to go my next one, it would be someone who was almost close to being my #1, Sade.
Okay, that's a good one.
Sade, yeah. So Sade is. I've tried to reach out to Sade for an interview, and she doesn't interview anybody. I mean, unless even when she has an album to release, does a few press and then just disappears. But she was, born in Nigeria. Nigerian dad, a British mum. So we all there was that sort of affinity. She's from Nigeria, but just like Anita, they came out with a style of music, that type of R&B, jazzy kind of stuff, and her voice just effortless. You think about how Adele sings now, where she strips back the music, and we listen to the voice. So Sade, they got the right kind of balance with their music, and then with her soulful deliverance. And because she's such an enigma, we don't hardly hear from her. She's very shy when she interviews, almost like Princess Diana. It adds to that rareness. She's disappeared now. Maybe Sony would say, please come on, let's get another album. She'll come back, do the album, and then disappear again. So I think that adds to it. So, but Sade would be my second.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I don't want to say I love her. I like a lot of Sade's music, especially the album I was introduced to her through was the Love Deluxe album, which that was in the '90s.
Yeah.
She was one of those artists I never got why she was so humongous and so well loved. I mean, I like her, but I just some people have this mystique about them that I don't know, and I think that might be a part of her allure and thing.
Yeah,
But I
she
do
was.
like her
Yeah,
music.
I mean, she would disappear for like 4 or 5 years, come out with an album, do a
Right.
world tour because it's a musician group, good musicians around them, so their live tours are excellent, and then she'll disappear, and so you don't hear too much. You're not always in the meet, so it's and she has a type of music that has a very loyal fan base that would always go back to it, and she isn't. There aren't many people in that lane with the kind of music that she comes out with. So it's quite easy to stay in there. And she can come out with the same album right now and it will go. But anyway,
and I was wondering, well, I just wanted to say quickly, another thing I was always confused about, even though she was Sade, I'm like, is she a band? Is it a band named Sade or is it
yeah,
the
so
lead singer?
so she is so her name is Sade, I do, yeah. But then they formed the band very similar to, they formed the band with the musicians and everything, even though she wrote all the songs and most of the music. But it's Sade became a band, which I don't know how the benefits or not of that. But anyway, yeah.
All right. So my next person may not be as popular as some of the other names, but it's just one of my faves. I have to go with my honest opinions. And I really, really love Faith Evans.
Okay.
Faith Evans. And because this is an R&B list, it's kind of limiting me on what I would say. But
would we going to bring Faith Hill instead, or what would you?
Oh no, Madonna. I would say Madonna. I would say Tracy Chapman. I mean, there's so many names that don't fit in like when we do our podcast, I try to keep it in the realm of
Okay.
soul, R&B, jazz, but things mostly in the R&B realm. But Faith Evans for me, and I'm just going by, you know, how she made me feel and how I felt at her time that she didn't get the credit. But she's a really good songwriter. She's written some really good songs. Her style of singing, even though it was inspired by gospel, like Karen Clark Shear, um, in R&B was kind of new to hear a female singer singing that style in R&B, because her vocals were very gospel, and it didn't. No one really identified it until Karen Clark Shear started releasing albums again from the Clark sisters. But I'm talking about that style of singing.
Yeah.
She's very consistent, and she wrote a lot of her own, a lot of her songs, a lot of her music was written by her. Soon as I Get Home, Caramel Kisses, Love Like This. I mean, there's so many songs that were hits that she was responsible for writing. And she's just one of those artists I always go back to. And that's another criteria for my list is artists I go back to.
Yeah.
You know, no matter, you know, I always go back and maybe purchase or listen to their album. You know, and these who make up my list.
Okay. I mean, her first debut album was amazing. That's Who Can I Soon As You Get Home, and but then I knew Love Like This was probably one song that was always if I used to go out to the club and that song came out, that just woke me up and says, okay, who am I gonna get on the dance floor? So that was a big one. But after that album, I actually didn't remember anything else from her. So that was one thing. So my third one would be somebody who, you know, although didn't come out with an album, but if I'm talking about my top 5 favorite singers, would be Tammy Lucas. You know, from the moment I think, if I can't remember. I mean, I didn't realize she sang. She was singing with "Goodbye Love," you know, on Blackstreet, on Guy's "Goodbye Love," and then she was on Keith Sweat's "Make It." No, not "Make It Last Forever." There's "Right Way." There's a right and a wrong way to love somebody. She was singing back there, and then, you know, and then she was on Rex Effects. I Want to Know What You Feel. You know, Teddy used a lot in different things, but she just had that sultry voice, and she was and it's almost as if they didn't put her voice too much, but it was always there. You know, all the stuff with not Basic Black, with Today and stuff, and even when she came, you know, with the Blackstreet stuff, even when she did the stuff with Tribe Called Quest, I remember never really listened to Tribe Called Quest until I saw her in the video. I'm thinking, oh, let me go buy the album because maybe Teddy did some stuff on that. So Tammy's voice, you know,
she has a really pretty tone.
Yeah.
And we definitely need a full-length album from Tammy, so hopefully she has that in the works.
Yes.
So I think we're on number 4. So
yeah,
I'm going to put in here my number 3. If we had an order,
no, you're number 4.
Yeah, okay. This is my number 4, but I'm thinking my top 3. So I'm just saying that this is my all-time top 3. But she's number 4 on this list. So Mary J. Blige, we already talked about her. But Mary, again, she's the artist that probably has influenced me the most coming up, like songwriter wise. And it's just what she meant to music. Like she's definitely been able to hang in there where so many other artists have kind of faded into oblivion or whatever. And she's still able to give us that same brand of what she does. And she has countless hits, Real Love, you know, Not Gonna Cry, 7 Days, Be Without You. I mean, she just always finds a way to come out with something that resonates with people. And I really love her, even though I know, some people may not be the biggest fan of her voice. Her voice resonates with me.
Mm.
It's something about, like, she's another one that has a lot of different layers of emotions in her voice that you can
Yeah.
hear. And
Mm.
so, yeah, she's definitely on my list as one of my favorite of all time.
Okay. Well, my number 4 is surprising enough. As I said, I wish we'd done this from 5 down to 1, but But my number 4 on my
Sorry.
list is also Mary, and
Mm,
I think she's come out with almost more than 9 albums. But you start to think of, what's the 411, then goes to My Life, then goes to Share My World, then goes to Mary, goes to all the different albums, and having hits on the albums, has her own lane. Forget the whole
right.
queen of hip hop soul kind of stuff, but it's, you hear a Mary record and you're like, wow, she can go from let's party to pain, no more drama, I'm going down. What's the one she did for the Waiting to Exhale? Not Gonna Cry.
Not Gonna Cry.
But then she can go Family Affair. She can go up and down with her range. Then she goes, collabs with hip hop artists like no one else can. Method Man, All That You Want, All That I Want. That was a classic. Then she did Can't Knock the Hustle with Jay-Z. I remember when she said for that track, they gave her paid her in cash.
They paid her in cash. Wow.
She did it. She said it in an interview that they gave her a suitcase, a bag of cash for the she freaked out, but she had to take the money. Back then now, whether they used the drug money to pay her, but she said that, man, she was freaking out when they gave her pension money for that.
She wasn't used to that. That's
but
funny.
As I said,
that is funny.
I posted a series of videos from Mary, age 50. I think people forget she's 50. But she doesn't. She looks like she's in her 30s, and she's dancing, and then she has a style of little funny drunken Mary dance and stuff. So yeah, Mary. Who makes you for number 5?
So my number 5 is going to be Brandy, Brandy Norwood, and Brandy is very unsung. I think she has a lot of fans, but unfortunately, like I said, I don't know what's happened with the music industry or the fan community. It's certain people that are kind of falling between the cracks, but it's something about Brandy that always resonates with me. I always come back to her music, and it's her voice, her tone, and like I said, it's not for everybody, but like I said, I think that her style of singing and approach to a song is very unique. And a lot of her songs, I to this day, I haven't heard anyone try to cover them. There's some people that when they sing songs, they're kind of hard to cover them because the style of how a person sings it, like Anita Baker, or they just have a certain style that is hard to mimic. That if you're going, or Whitney Houston, that if you're going to sing that song, all the person's going to hear is the original person singing it. And I think that because she was a teenager when she came out, we had this conversation about immature. Because she was a teenager when she came out, it's hard to give her the same kind of props or respect that you would have given Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey or whoever, because a lot of people might have saw her as a teen star at the time, but she had some very mature and compelling music that when she, especially the big fan favorite is Never Say Never, her second album. But I loved her first album. I mean, she's had a lot of good material. She's another one that's been very careful about picking the best music for her projects. You can literally put her CD in and just listen all the way through. So that's why I put her on my list. She's my But under Whitney, she's like my number 2. I love her.
Next time you have to do, we start from 5, get to number 1. It's like it's like the drum rolls of stuff. But
I know I'm gonna do that for now on. I'm gonna do that.
But I must say, yes, I preferred the first album, the whole innocence and stuff. The song that really I don't like is that Broken Hearted. It just was, it put me to sleep. Broken Hearted. But
what is it with you in these sad love songs that you just are determined to be happy? Some of us like to enjoy and wallow in our songs.
In the 90s, you know, in the 90s, I just loved. I was, you know, I lived in LA. I was having fun, and I just didn't like other songs. But I think the other thing that I don't know how much this plays is the whole, yeah. And I remember her to meet Moesha, you know, fine and stuff. But that whole, when she got pregnant and then she had to get married to Rodney's cousin to because she didn't want it to affect her fandom, and then the story later came out that look, man, we just messed around, we weren't legal, it was part of a sham sort of stuff, and but yeah, and I don't know, as I said, after her second album, I just can't remember, but I'll give her props because it's very hard to transition from a teen star, an actress teen star to where she was, but and she has held her own. My who would round up my top 5 would be L Boogie.
Oh, Lauryn Hill.
Lauryn Hill.
She's only had 1 album.
Yeah, well, no, she's 2. The Unplugged, probably my best album from Lauryn. Because it's probably actually because it's probably my best. I actually preferred than her first.
Oh no, that it's a good album or project. I don't know that people consider it her album. It's more like a acoustic.
Yeah, but it was all new music. She did. Yeah, it was all new songs. It was. It's been sampled by Kanye. All 4 down.
It has.
Yeah, even Common has sampled. So it wasn't even it was an album.
Right.
But it was done live. But you know, the Mystery of Iniquity, the Adam Lives. I love the album. I mean, it's the message behind it and stuff. Yeah, I got the video and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I still remember her. You know, the Fuji, the first album before the score. And so she's featured on, you know, 4 albums and stuff. But unfortunately, with Lauryn, there was a lot going on with her. Her Unplugged album, in a way, was showcasing the fact that she was going through a lot of struggles. I mean, she cut her hair and that she talked about, and then she started to go deep down the rabbit hole kind of thing. But as somebody who had just so much creativity and in his stuff, you know, she can sing and she can rap, and she was just multi-talented. So Lauryn would close up my top 5.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good list. I definitely like Lauryn. For me, she's only had 1 album. Like the people I list, I try to go with consistency and multiple albums, but I respect that choice. And like I said, there were other people, if we were just saying in general, like you brought up Faith Hill. I actually do like Faith Hill. I like Shania Twain, Reba McEntire. I listen to country as well. But I mean, there are others that, you know, like Alanis Morissette at that time.
Yeah. A lot of times when I Gwen Stefani I was big with No Doubt.
Stefani.
Yeah.
But it's kind of hard. That's why I want a criteria. We have to establish a criteria. Is it entertainer? Is it creative person that's actually involved with writing their music? That's why it's hard for me to say greatest of all time, because we need to kind of tighten that criteria of, so are we talking about entertainers and overall entertainment, or are we talking about creative people that, you know, create their music? I mean, so it's kind of a general thing, but when we always talk about your favorites, it's just, you know, it's just, I remember Whitney not writing her music, and I thought, well, shame on her. But Mariah writes a lot of her stuff, or kind of gets your publishing if you want to feature, if you want her to sing a song, kind of thing. Those Rihanna. Whitney has better music, so. You know, Rihanna has better music.
So there was
Beyonce
many
to me. So
But anyway.
I was actually gonna throw Rihanna on this list. I like Rihanna. To
Yeah,
me, my favorite new artist in the last, I want to say 15 years, because she's got the goods. She's not the best singer, she's not the best dancer, but it's something that allures and attracts people to Rihanna. Her people, her team, make sure she has hot songs for release, and she's just an interesting person.
Yeah, next time we'll do Rihanna versus Beyonce.
Yeah, we need to do that. No.